Well, that's a weird note to begin the video on. Hello, everyone. It's Kai. Welcome back to episode 10 of Pokemon Crystal. In the last part, we beat Morty, and I'm starting off this part a bit different, like I did when I caught Sandshrew or Cam, really. And I'm with catching a Psyduck. As for why I need this, it's because we got Surf last part, and I need it to beat the gym. I mean, I need it fairly soon, so I'm catching a Psyduck for right now. We won't have him for long, because, there's a certain guy I'll be talking to in a couple minutes in this part. But anyway, caught Psyduck. Man, this guy was annoying in the anime. And what am I just gonna be using it for? Well, nothing but surfing. Oh my god. I just realized he says surfing bird. Insert the song here. And some of you guys are probably too young to know what I'm talking about, even though I'm only 15. And it goes from night to day in one battle. I guess that's the time system acting up. So anyway, to do what I'm doing next is going on a bit of a detour really quick to head over here to Route 42. Anyway, one thing that's odd about when you use Surf is that you turn into a red Lapras for some odd reason. But anyway, the reason I came over, besides getting a Super Potion and Ultra Ball, which are very useful, mind you, is that over here is a guy I kind of want to talk to. One space away from him! I fight him off screen, but the reason I'm talking to him is because we can get his phone number. But there's a very specific reason I want to do that, because at certain times he'll alert you when he'll call you when he finds an item for you, which is a Water Stone. Which I need for Matt. Because he's not going to be an Eevee forever. He's going to turn into a Vaporeon at some point and become the guy who knows Surf in the team. And very convenient battle transition. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, now we're done with Ecruteak for now. It's time to head on to the next city. Into a place where I actually did some level grinding for Blaze last part so I could fight Morty. I'm getting better at editing out these fights. And actually, whoa, that person teleported. The route we just passed from Route 39, I want to say, or the one, because this is two routes. This place I'm on right now. But that's actually where I did a majority of my Pokemon farming in Soul Silver, because while Soul Silver, oh, Heart Gold technically, because while in Soul Silver I legitimately did my Pokedex, 100%. Heart Gold, not so much. Hello, Jason. You still think Pokemon are completely worthless, or don't you? Anyway, while we could go to the gym now, there's nothing we can do at this point, so yeah. I decided to go into the market and check out what they have, and they have nothing I need. But head in here and talk to the sailor up top, not this guy. And the reason I talked to him twice is because I thought I had the wrong person. I thought I did something wrong, but you have to talk to this guy to get HM for strength, which we can actually use right away. And who do I teach it to? But get to the pack. And I decided to teach strength to Abe. Because, well, as far as I remember, Strength is a fighting type move, and Abe is bug fighting, if I remember correctly. So he's actually really good with it. And I decided to get rid of Leer because I never use stat reducing or increasing attacks. Because they're rather useless in the main game. In multiplayer they can be pretty useful, but otherwise, no. One more stop here in Olivine, actually, which is right over here into the lighthouse. This place has a lot of trainers you can fight, which I did a majority of off-screen. Although you'll still see the little arrow pop up every now and then, not exclamation points, because I didn't feel like editing them entirely out, because for some reason I feel the need to show the dialogue. I don't know why I do, I just do. Or maybe it's because it's easier to judge when to edit. Jesus, there's a lot of trainers in here, but this is also a pretty good place to do some somewhat grinding. You know, you can only fight the trainers here once as far as I remember. Now, those holes in the floor, you can fall through them, but you don't need to yet, because there is something we need to do up the top. Well, you don't need to do it, but it kinda helps. So many fights, and whoa! Recording glitch, hello. I never really watched the video through until I commentate over it, besides editing purposes. So when I see recording glitches, I don't know they're there. Anyway, I somehow avoid that guy, even though he looked right at me for a split second. I guess the coding couldn't really keep up with him, perhaps? Anyway, now we're at the top, which has the gym leader, Jasmine, actually, who would show up later in Gen 4. But we can't fight her because this Ampharos, which is sick. I really need to check, actually, how many Actually, I should check how many Pokedex completion we have. In fact, I can do that really quick. But we can fall down through the stairs, or holes to get to the new place we need. And now we're done in Olivine, really, for now. Not much for us to do. Anyway, I decided to use my first Repel for the game. Repels... repel Pokemon. For a certain amount of steps. They have a couple of variations, but really the best one is just the Super Repels, because unlike Max Repels, you get the more steps for money. Oh wow! I just looked up our Pokedex right now. We've seen 90 of the 151. And surprisingly, this is the first time I've ever heard this song this far in, because usually, caves, you usually run into a Pokemon battle every 5 steps. So close. That was a battle of the Tentacle, by the way, which is the Zubat of the Sea, as it's called. Now, there's something I don't show off in this town yet. Well, 2 things technically. But I decided not to because I was pretty high on time because of a certain glitch that happened with my controller. Anyway, as it turns out, Jason came in here and stole this guy's Pokemon, pretty much. So he asks us to look after his other one, which is a Shuckle, which is high in defense, but other than that, it's kind of bleh. I go back to the Pokecenter to store it in the box because I will never be using him, and we just end up pretty good. Now, before we go to the gym, which is the main reason I came here, besides the thing with Olivine, is that Suicune's here. And that's where my controller glitched, if you can hear that little da-da sound. Because for some reason my controller died on me, and now I'm using the keyboard. And now we actually get to fight Eusine, or Weesine, or how do you pronounce this guy's name anyway? Anyway, first he starts off with a Drowsy, which are actually, in terms of Gen 1, was one of the most powerful Pokemon, because Psychic types in the first generation were very powerful, as I think I mentioned before, but starting this generation, they split the special stat, which was the main reason they were so powerful in the first gen, into special attack and defense, which really helped. They're still powerful, but not as overpowered. Then again, Gen 1, well, Generation 1 meaning red, blue, yellow, not the Gen 1 remakes, fire red, leaf green. But those were pretty broken to begin with the high critical hit rate and the psychic types all around. Anyway, next he sends out an Electrode, which is actually one of the fastest Pokemon in Gen 1 and 2. And it has also, for some reason, in recent times become Guile from Street Fighter for some reason. Because it knows Sonic Boom, it makes no sense to me. I don't really get it. But if you look at Electrode, you might realize that he resembles a Pokeball. I don't know why they did that. Then again, Gen 1, if you look at its Pokemon designs, was rather lazy. A lot of them are based off real animals or some very mythical ones. They get a lot more creative Gen 2 onwards. Anyway, now he sends out a Haunter, which I'm surprised Pat has not become yet. And Hai Eusine is down. I think that's the only time you fight him too, because we run into him and Suicune a few more times too. And the fisherman I talked to earlier in this episode calls me, but it's not for the reason I wanted him to. Now, as for the Water Stone, I think we will be getting it fairly soon, because there is a trick we can use to get it much faster, which I'll be showing off. Which involves the switching daylight savings time over at the New Bark, but I think it's New Bark, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But I won't be showing that off until next part, maybe the part after. Anyway, this is where we were supposed to come to get the medicine for the Ampharos. But I'm not heading back just yet. There's one more thing I can do to pretty much complete Cyanwood for the rest of the game, actually. You know, we could show off another zone, but that's not until after post-game stuff. Welcome to the Fighting type gym, where for some reason my recording glitched and skips over, or more like my emulator glitched and I had to skip over quite a few of the fights. I decided to put Pat out front because he's Ghost type, and the majority of the fighting types use normal or fighting type moves, which from what I remember don't really affect Ghost types. And that skipped all three of these trainers because my emulator glitched. But for some reason, I don't remember why, but you can use Strength right from the get-go. I don't remember why that is. But anyway, I'm gonna have to end this off here. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time in Pokemon Crystal, we'll fight off the leader of this gym. See you then!